Alright, I'm going to go over how I used 3D Builder, which is a free program as part of Windows, to put together the bracket that I used for the Guider 2 that was compatible with the Filler Spool Roller. So I'll show the roller later in the video. You can see how it works. But I also covered it with the NX. I covered how I put together the roller for that one. So all we need is a bracket. The way the roller works, it has a fixture on one end and it goes into a socket. I'll show you how that works later. I started with this model here, the orange one. This is FlashForge on it, and this is a copy. I don't remember where I got this exactly. I guess from FlashForge website. This is a copy of the one that comes with the printer, and this is the bracket that you need to hang on the back of the printer, so that the reel sticks straight out the back, as you'll see coming up. So what we want out of this model is all we want is this bracket on this side. We want these dimensions, like this distance here is the right distance that will go on nicely onto the the little hole that's cut out, the square hole that's cut out of the back of the printer. So I'm not going to go through every step that I did. I'll just talk about them. So basic idea is you want to chop off this part of the model and just keep this part. So you just insert a cube and then you stretch it. Let's see, that's not stretching it. Then you stretch it so that it covers this part of the bracket, and you can play around a little bit. You can see that it's a little bit left there. Anyway, so you get this cube, so it just chops off this part of the bracket, and then you say subtract, edit, subtract. Right, so it chopped off. That's a little bit on there, so when I did it for real, I did a little more careful because this green that's left there is part of this original bracket. So you chop this off, okay? Then you end up with just that. Then you end up with this red one. So I've chopped it off. I got the red one. So now this one, this is the bracket that the 3D or the filler likes to use, and we want to set it up so that this side is butted up against this, so we have to flip this over. So we can select this, and we can say object, let's see, mirror. I guess we want to mirror it, yeah. Oh, that's the wrong one was selected. Okay, well, we have multiple things selected. That's the problem, yeah. So deselect all. Just select this one. Oh, and I left a little bit of it over here, but don't worry about that. So again, you'd be a little more careful chopping the first one off, so you just had this bracket left, which is why I ended up with this red one. So I selected this object, and I want to mirror left to right. All right, so now this slot here is on the inside over to this one. So then you just move these up so they butt up against each other, basically, and you end up with this one. Now it looks like I made this part a little bit thicker. So you could just put another block in here, just insert another cube and size it so that it makes this part thicker. Not sure why I did that exactly, but at this point. But anyway, so now you've got this slot that's attached to this thing. So this is the first one I made, the green one. And then I found, as you'll see in the video, that because of the weight of the reel, the spool roller would kind of tend to dip down away from the printer. So the reel would kind of slide away from the printer, even though it's a self-centering roller, as you'll see, or as you've seen on my NX video about it. It would slide away, and then sometimes the filament would come loose from the reel and get stuck in this area right in here. Actually, yeah, right in here, and outside of the boundaries of the reel itself, and that would cause a problem. So to fix that, you'll see in the video, first I use popsicle sticks on here to tilt this, to put a popsicle here and a popsicle here, to tilt this up so the reel was pointing up slightly, and then the weight would basically level it out. So decided the popsicle sticks weren't the best final solution, so I just ended up coming back to this program. I loaded this model, this green one. Let's select the yellow one. So I loaded this model up, and then I added again 2 rectangles of the proper size on the top and the bottom, 2 take the place of the popsicle stick. So now it's a finished model that you print this way. Let's select this one. So this is the one you will bring into Simplify 3D and show how we print it. Alright, so here's that model. This is the final one. I think I showed printing out the original one, and I'll show that up ahead, but this is the final one. It's in Simplify 3D. And this part of the model in here needs support. You need to support this hanging bracket here. So we set up supports. This is version version 4.1.2. So that's what I had. The version 5 hadn't come out yet when I did this. As you'll see in other videos, I'm using any new projects. I'm trying to use Simplify 3D version 5. But my existing projects, when I first started using it, didn't migrate that well to the version 5. So I ended up just keeping the projects as they are because they work fine. So now I'm putting this in PTG. So I use an extrusion multiplier of 1 and layer height of 0.2. And then the infill, yeah, okay. So basically standard for this, infill is 50%. I like to use that for any structural parts. We're not doing any kind of outlines or anything. And then the support generates support material. So, and then what's what I'm using for temperature? So back then I was using a bed temperature of 65. I've since gone lower than that, as you'll see in the months to come as I release other videos about how I'm using the Guider 2 today. But anyway. But 237 is what I've found works great for all the PTGs that I'm buying, and I've shown reviews of. That's a good extrusion temperature for me. It's not too hot. And then for cooling, sometimes I start on the second layer with 10% fan, or sometimes even, on some projects if they're really small. Actually, I guess yeah, they're really small. Maybe I use 5% fan. But generally, I start the first layer with no fan. And then after that, at some layer between 2 and 4, I turn on 10% fan. I found, and you'll see in some of the videos where I do some testing of PTG, that no fan, which is some websites recommend no fan for PTG, doesn't work for me. So, okay, and then the speeds. So the default printing speed, I've tried speeding this up, as you see in the video coming up, to faster than 3000. For PLA, we print at 3600. But it just doesn't adhere very well. The layer adhesion is not great. So stuck with this, so it's a little bit slower. Now for PLA, I've been using the default XY movement axis of 4800 that Simplify 3D usually puts in there. So to get a little bit of speed back from having to lower this, I changed this to 6000. Doesn't make a huge difference, probably not much at all, but and I saved this profile as G2, Guider 2, PTG with support, so I can use that in other projects. Alright, so when we print this out, you can see the gray material here is the support material. As you'll see in the video, it comes out pretty easily. So, alright, so about an hour and 32 minutes. So let's go back to the printer, and I'll show you how I'm printing this out, and then how we're using it with the printer going forward. Just as a review, this is the project for the roller. So I'll link. This is the remix I did of the wasp wasted roller. So the center is thinner diameter, so the reel tends to want to move toward the center and keep it centered. So, and these are the pins that go in. There's two different sizes of pins. I found the loose, or the pins with the smaller inserts work better for me. But the way the project was originally put out, there was two sets of pins. One super tight fit, which I couldn't get to go in very well, and just a regular fit. So, and then this is the roller. So again, I've shown this on other projects, but again, I'll go ahead and show you this one. So this is using the same profile settings we had for the bracket. So because you need supports to support this thing going on here, and also over here. This is needs to be supported on this, and this is the fixture there on the end that goes in that socket that we had in the bracket. It's going to be print to print, and there's some support material here that I think is really unnecessary. Oh, that's right. This is indented slightly. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, so to get the bearings to work properly, there's a little bit of an insert here so that it rolls better. But then the main support we need is this overhanging thing. And also, this project, let's go back to here, has these cutouts to cut down how much material you're processing, so that ends up requiring some supports there. So, because this is a flat surface here, a horizontal surface. All right, so there's the roller part. I'm not going to show printing that because I'm just using the ones that I printed out from before from the NX. That's the beauty of this design, is this roller is universal, and you just set up a bracket that has the right socket on it that this fixture fits into. Then you can put it on any printer. And there's all sorts of brackets on Thingiverse for different printers for this design, and I've uploaded mine, which I just showed you, for the Guider 2, and I'll have a link to that in the show notes. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Post a comment if you have any questions or ideas, and I'll try to respond. That's all for now, but more videos are coming, and if you want to see them, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification icon if you don't want to miss one. This is Beta Cygni signing out, and keep looking up.